Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've made it through all of rest of this week's. Now it's going to wrap things up with this week's Night Terrors tie-ins. New villain Insomnia has put majority of the world, to sleep. Well, so he can try and find the Nightmare Stone in the dreams, largely of the Justice League. So kicking these off, we've got Night Terror's Catwoman, number 1. This was had at least has some neat things, some neat visuals. Selina's, being Catwoman, but on her tail, in a dog pursuit of her, is her sister Maggie, who's kind of pulling a kind of warrior nun thing going on. But Catwoman's chasing what appears to be a clown, a Joker, someone looking like the Joker. And apparently, Selina has some scars on her face from her attempt at basically controlling Gotham's underworld, including one that goes through her left eye and rendering it unusable. But Selina and her sister go to Amusement Mile in hopes of stopping the Joker. Joker's there, shoots the place up, ends up shooting Selina's sister Maggie. And Selina falls and is caught by Batman, though it's early Batman. He's got the costume, but he's never thought to call himself Batman. He's only thought about calling himself Batman. He hasn't actually started doing so. But Bats is bitten by a snake. Selina and Maggie get Bruce somewhere where his injuries can be taken care of, to share a kiss, but Maggie's positive that walks in on them and isn't entirely enthused, thinking that Selina may be right, that God doesn't talk to girls like her. And the issue ends with Catwoman opting to tell this young Batman, everything she knows about at least the Joker. Potentially also the rest of his rogues gallery too. Alright, interesting. That is one thing I do actually kind of enjoy with this event, is delving into the nightmares of various characters. It's a common trope. Give a character, put a character hero in a situation where they have to face their fears, usually via hallucinogens or dreams. But it can be very interesting. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Night Terror's Nightwing, number 1. Dick Grayson is on the run, accused of murder. But who did he kill? He's brought back to Arkham, and Two-Face even says he's quite the celebrity there. But there's someone in his... he has a cellmate, though his cellmate seems to be under his bed. Dick manages to escape, but is brought back, put through electroshock therapy, things are turned all the way up. All of the all the staff in Arkham appears to be anthropomorphic cannibals, though the inmates are still, well, normal by their standards. We find out, however, that Nightwing apparently killed Batman. But he had a run with insomnia. His cellmate is revealed to be none other than the Scarecrow. And the issue ends. Oh, and Scarecrow wants to break out with Dick's help. But the issue ends with a new inmate being brought in. Batgirl. Well, Babs at least, though she appears to be cyborg Batgirl. Or cyborg Babs. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. I guess that could definitely be seen as something that Dick is worried about, is possibly killing Batman, though I'm sure I would think he'd be more concerned about the possibility of Batman accidentally killing him, but even then that would still be a remote, yeah, that's not something I really think would happen. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Night Terror's Punchline, #1. So, Punchline's taking over the Royal Flush Gang, going through hospitals, and everyone's unconscious. Apparently she even gets to test out her new version of XO. And her people are immune to whatever's got everyone asleep. But they're informed that they managed to take control of the clock tower. And Punchline's attacked by Batgirl. Two of them duke it out. The fight ends with Batgirl impaled on, dead and impaled on parts of a broken window. Punchline takes Batgirl's motorcycle, checks out the clock tower, rolls her eyes at everything. Notice that it seems to take no time at all, but at the same time impossibly long to get to the clock tower. But there's an intruder. Zombie Batgirl attacks Punchline, eventually pulling all the equipment of the clock tower to add to her form, making her a cyber zombie. Punchline escapes, but it is grabbed by an ever-extending cybernetic arm, pulls her back into the clock tower. And that is where the issue ends. Okay. In some ways feels kind of similar to the Joker's, the first part of the Joker one, where, he just keeps on. He killed Batman, but he's bored. It's kind of what to do now. But I think this is more Punchline being afraid of, if you kill the bat, or any of the bats, are they really dead? Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Night Terror's Superman, #1. So, recent events. LexCorp has been, is now SuperCorp. Still run by Lex Luthor, but it's Lex working with Superman. So, at the Hall of Justice, before shit went sideways in Night Terror's First Blood, Superman headed out and called for Mercy Graves, Lex Luthor's valet, saying something mystical and to gather up all the supernatural ornithologists and run some tests, see if anything unusual is up with the barriers between the dream world and the real world. But then the Insomniac does his thing. Superman's falling. First, he's in the Silver Age version of the Daily Planet. Then things become more modern, getting bits and pieces of various eras of Superman, including Lois in her wedding dress, Perry holding up a Daily Planet headline, "Whole world saved forever." Giant tidal waves arriving, however, and so Clark says, dream or not, this is a job for Superman. But when he tears his shirt open, he just has an S carved into his chest. Lois is now frozen, saying, "You can't save us all." And Perry shows up, but then peels his face off, revealing himself to be Insomnia. Knocks Clark out of the building, and through various potential realities. Metropolis in flames, Metropolis in ice, Metropolis with bombs falling on it, Metropolis under attack by Brainiac. Eventually ending up at the end of time, faced by a Super Reaper who claims to be his future. He will be the last one standing. But the Super Reaper says that his ship was... He was not adopted. He's not Earth's adopted savior. He's not Earth's savior. He's a bullet fired at Earth's direction. The planet splits in half. Superman fights the Super Reaper, taking his scythe. Briefly sees Kara. Eventually, Kara punches through the walls of wherever she's at. However, she's being chased by basic zombie versions of every previous version of Supergirl. And Clark reminds her that it's all a dream. Back in the waking world, people have been washing up on a beach, including Superman and Aquaman, as well as all of his associated characters. Are curious as to what the hell is going on in the surface world, why it's not affecting them, and Aquaman decides he's going to be the one that saves things, and that is where the issue ends. Interesting. I really did like the design of the Super Reaper, and yeah, the various Supergirl clones were pretty cool to see, especially with including the Black Lantern Supergirl. Would have been nice if they had the Apocalyptian Supergirl from Jeff Loeb and Michael Turner's Supergirl arc in Batman Superman from years and years ago. I thought that would have been a nice touch. Moving on, though, to our last book for the week, we've got Night Terror's Wonder Woman, #1. So Wonder Woman went to get the members of Justice League Dark, and she and Detective Chimp were taken by Robot Man and Zatanna to a mystical safe room within the Hall of Justice. Wonder Woman melts in Detective Chimp's hands, but she manages to pull him out, and then he slips into the puddle that's been created. Constantine shows up, and their allies are apparently in the middle of a labyrinth. They opt to walk through it, each holding the lasso. John makes a fiery sword, On the walls of this labyrinth are various tales of Greek demigods. The Minotaur, and when Wonder Woman hits the walls, it actually hurts her hand. But John and Bobo are separated from Diana. John's fire sword manages to slice through the awakening demigods, but they reform. And John puts up a something of a flare. But again, Wonder Woman is is reminded of various demigods and how they've all fallen. But of course, last of the fallen demigods is the worst of them all, Wonder Woman. John and Bobo are once again separated. John thinks he's run into Dr. Fate and Zatanna and Swamp Thing, though it seems what he's seeing is presumably a fear of how his death will end up affecting his eventual death might affect the team. Wonder Woman deals with a monstrous version of herself. Manages to at least briefly defeat it and find Bobo, saving him from what appears to be a Gorgon snake, a snake with snakes coming out of its head. And she saves Bobo from said snake by letting it go after her. We've got a backup story focusing on Nubia, the Well of Horrors. Nubia is pulled into the nightmare realm. Follows the guides of Gaia, however, while facing off some of the creatures in this realm. Nubia loses sight of Gaia, and Gaia returns, decomposing and, well, made up of apparently decomposing bodies. And stating that she will devour Nubia and the rest of Paradise Island. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. I do have to admit, I appreciate seeing Justice League Dark coming back, at least as supporting characters in this in Wonder Woman. I'd prefer if they had their own book. I've been saying this for a while, but well, yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to Patreon patron Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.